Hello guys, welcome to a new tutorial. Today I'm gonna show you how to make these lamps. These are completely procedural with geometry nodes, and you can change a lot of the settings here on the profile, how they look like. So yeah, this is pretty much my lamps. You can change the amplitude, the height. All of this is based on a spiral. So yeah, you have also the controls of the spiral. How many loops do you want? Yeah, you can do some really wacky stuff, like if you make this number like huge, you get this kind of effect, and you can also make it bigger. And as you can see, it's, I don't know, making this weird shape. You can even make it bigger. Yeah, you can do some really strange things, and you can change a lot of it. You can change the rotation and stuff. So yeah, this is the node tree. As you can see, it's not that big, but without waiting a little bit more, let's jump into it. So here I have a new blender scene. I'm just gonna delete my camera, the default cube, and I'm gonna add a mesh that is gonna hold our geometry nodes. We go here into the geometry node tab and we create a new one. We can see here that we have our input and our output. We don't really need our input because everything is gonna be geometry nodes based. You don't need to enter into edit mode to edit anything. So yeah, as I pretty much always do, I start with a curve line. So line, we add a curve line and we take a look at it, and then I'm gonna use a spiral, curve spiral, and our whole effect is gonna be based on this spiral here. We want it to be on the negative, so the height has to be negative, and pretty much we can change all of these parameters like the resolution and the rotation after we make our process. So the first key insight for our lamp, it has to be like, if we multiply the position by a number, we're gonna scale it in that position. So if we set the position, which this only means that we're gonna take every position of every vertex and we can shift it over, like this is the offset, and we can also change it by adding some math to the position. So let's take our position node. This only tells the geometry nodes that we want to modify the position. If, as you can see, if we plug it in, nothing changes because our position is going to be changing if we add math to it. So let's add math to it by vector math, and we put it over here. If we put here and then we press M, we are gonna multiply. If we multiply everything by 0, everything is gonna go to the center and we are not gonna see anything. But if we multiply everything by 1, we are not gonna do like any changes. If we increase this number, like this is the X value, we can see that we are scaling in the X, and if we increase this number, we are scaling also in the Y. How do we do it so that we change the profile of our curves? So I used the sine function for this, but to actually change that sine function or add it to our geometry, we need to separate the X, Y, and Z. So we press Q, separate X, Y, Z, and then we combine it. Sorry, we just plug the position here, and then we have the same position, but its nodes are separate on X, Y, and Z. And we need our X and Y, so because we don't really want to change the height. So if we combine this over here, we put it over here, it just gives us control over each single axis, because now we have these little nodes here that are gonna, like if we put this over here, we can now change each of them separately. Okay, so we're gonna multiply our X and Y by the height of our lamp. right? So if we multiply this and this, just the height, which is z, we are going to multiply by x and y, and now we see that we are starting to get something. If we go into side view, we can see that we are scaling as we go down. As you can see, as we go down, like this number will get bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, in this case smaller because we're in the negative, but it doesn't really matter. Actually, it kind of does. Like, we can change it by adding a math node, and we can multiply by -1, so that our z direction always gets in the positive. It doesn't really matter. We can actually change the strength of our effect because we are multiplying. Like, it's almost like dividing. So if we go into divide and we divide by a big number, we're changing the strength of our effect. But yeah, we have here this value that is increasing as we go along the y-axis. That's why it's making this weird like curve, I guess. How do we control this? So now we have a value which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as the distance goes down, and we want to add like a profile. This is a sine function, so let's just add a math node, and we can add a sine function over here. And what the sine function does, it takes a sequence of values and makes them from 1 to 0 in a smooth way. We can also take a cosine, which is just the inverse of a sine. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, now we have our shape of a lamp. But how do we transform this? Well, if we add a multiply node here, so it's multiply, we can change the amplitude. This is how many waves do we have. If we put it behind the sign, if we put it after, we're just gonna change the strength of our effect. And we can also just add an add node. This will change the face of our shape, and we can change the amplitude. And if we want like this top circle to be bigger, instead of multiplying it, because multiplying will scale it evenly along the y-axis, so we need to add. If we add after the sine function, as you can see, we can make this bigger without scaling that much, and our profile. So these are the nodes that we need to change our lamp shape. As you can see, we have a lot of control over how it looks like. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. To add the light, it's really easy. We just need our curve line that we added, and we are gonna combine or join. We are gonna join these two, and now we have our line. We can change the height, and we can change it so that it goes down here. And let's instance a light on it. So in instance on points, and we are gonna be adding another line instanced on that line, which we're spawning a line in this point and in this point. So we only want the bottom point, so we can select it with endpoint selection. We are gonna add it over here. We're gonna select, and we are gonna make this. Well, we actually need to take a look at it. Now, yeah, there you go. Now we have our point there, and we are gonna transform it into a mesh. To mesh, curve to mesh, and we are going to put a circle as our profile. So curve circle, we're gonna put it over here, make it smaller, and if we want our light to be a little bit more, to have a little bit more je ne sais quoi, we're gonna add a profile to our light too. So we need to set the radius, set curve radius. We're gonna also resample it. Resample. This will give us the resolution, and we are going to take the parameter, spline parameter, and we're going to take the factor and put it into the radius. This will give us a radius between 1 and 0, and we can just grab curves, float curves, put it over here, grab a little bit more space and make this bigger, and I'm just gonna put these two over here and something like this, and we can make this by changing the radius a little bit bigger. Now we have that, and if we change this, we can change the how big our light is or our bulb, and if we change this, we can change the height or the height of this top part. Now it's just a matter of adding this curve to mesh to all of our curves. So curve to mesh, and we are gonna have our circle here, which is gonna be the profile. I'm gonna make this smaller, something like this. And now we have this our light, which we can pretty much control all of these parameters. If we want to have control over this, we just need to put all of these nodes in our group input node. We can just add it by this one over here. We can have multiple, so that if we don't want to have like this huge line just to control this radius and it looks really bad and you can get confused really easily, you can just duplicate it and then grab it and put it like close to it, so that we don't really need to have those lines in between our node tree. But yeah, let's just put this all the way here. If we want to control also the height and also the parameters for the spiral, we can do that by just plugging all of these in. I like to put the rotation and the height and leave the profile or the radius the same, because we can change it with the math nodes that we did earlier. So I'm just gonna put these two as a cylinder, 1 and 1, and yeah, that's pretty much it. If we go to the range over here, we have all of these values that we can change the name of. So if we press N and then we go into group, all of the values here, like we can move this. So our sine function, we can change these as I don't know, whatever you want. So yeah, we can also change the base of our lamp. We can change the strength. We can also change how big is it, the height, and you can do like a lot of stuff with this. You don't really need to do lamps. This is just a way of showing some tricks that I have learned. So yeah, if you like this, just like it, I don't know, and if you found it useful, just let me know, and if you want to learn anything else, let me know. But yeah, this is pretty much it, so see you guys.